What's up, guys? It's Allison. In honor of the second Magnus Chase book, The Hammer of Thor, being published, let's talk about the first one that is the wrong way, Sword of Summer. So first off, we meet Magnus, who's a homeless 16-year-old. Little strange, right? So we get a little farther and we learn about Hearth and Blitz, his homeless mom and dad who are always there protecting him. You learn more about them later in the book, which is they're really cool. And a little ways in, he dies. That's the end of most characters, right? They die and that's it. So, no, not Magnus here. Magnus goes to Hotel Valhalla, a home for the heroes, and I can't even say that, his Valika and Sam, I totally butchered that name, I'm so sorry. Sam, who brought him there, Hearth and Blitz ran at Surt, the fire, whatever he was. At this point, he didn't know what he was. And with plastic toys. I'm like, this is gonna go so bad. They're gonna die, aren't they? They're all gonna die. No. But no. Magnus had already summoned the sword. We've already met Annabeth, who is looking for him, looking for Magnus with her father, Frederick. And so yeah, there's that, but then we go on and go to the Hotel Valhalla, and nobody really approves, and they don't think that Magnus should be there, because he didn't die with a weapon in his hand, and they don't think that he's all that heroic. And he got the Sword of Summer out of the river. How is that not cool, people? Come on. Anyway, so then at the Hotel Valhalla, they didn't really approve. He has his housemates, Valerie X, TJ, Thomas Jefferson Jr., super referencey to Hamilton there, it sounded like. That's the first thing I thought. It's like, Hamilton? And then it was Junior, so. That didn't work, but they're all separated by the floors about the age-ish that they died. Like, the teenager-ish area is all on one floor, and that's where Mallory X. I'm forgetting one. Whatever. Then we go on, and the sword later comes back after he goes back into the earth, and he escapes from Hearth and Blitz, come back, and reveal that they're a dwarf and an elf. And Hearth is, let me make sure I'm getting this right. Hearth is learning magic with these rune stones, which come in huge handy later in the book. And Blitz he's not really welcome into his society because he's not that great of a craftsman. But later in the book, he wins a thing and he doesn't die because he won. So Sam's headscarf, do you have a name for that? Her headscarf turned Hearth and herself invisible, not invisible, but they like blended in with the thing because the tree was like, the scarf thing was like camouflage for them when Hearth's leg got stuck in the tree. Blitz and Magnus had to go on without them, and it was just like, are they going to survive? What's going on? Sam is super awesome. She turned into a horsefly, which kept Junior from winning the craftsmanship contest. No, that's not cheating. She was a bug. And then she also turned into a she turned into a deer to get away so her and Hearth would be safe from everything that was there. And that was super terrifying because I kept thinking, and then she didn't show up for the craftsmanship competition. I thought Blitz was going to turn into stone because he can't be out in the sunlight long, and I thought something was going to happen to Hearth because he can't be without sunlight long. Like, this is totally mismatch here. Why did you send these two together to protect Magnus? And then he meets back up with Annabeth at his funeral. Not on purpose. Like, he broke into his funeral to see if the sword was there when the sword was missing still, and he had to go. This was right after he had met back up with Hearth and Blitz, and Annabeth was like, I thought you were dead. And he's no. Like, that was awkward, and then she had to pretend that she didn't know that he wasn't dead, but he was dead. So we later learned that Magnus is a son of Frey. He doesn't at first understand why he can't just give the sword back to his father, Frey, but he learns later that he can't. The sword gets named Jack, which is really funny. He's the first, like, what's your name? Magnus. Call me Magnus. You can't be Magnus. I'm Magnus. What's her name? Sam. And no, you can't be Sam. And then they go on, and he's like, I don't know, Jack. And he's like, Jack. I shall be called Jack. Yep, that's totally the name of the sword. I mean, it's a good thing because I probably would have butchered the proper pronunciation of the actual sword's name. And then they go to this giant's house later, and they claim guest rights, which means they can't kill them right away, and they can't attack the giants until the giants try and kill them. So, of course, Sam and Magnus are inside this house. That's huge, and they get lifted up in the chair, and they're like, well, would you like us to lift up your chair? So they said something to that effect, and they throw it up on the ceiling, and they're like, we should have had spikes installed up there. So like, did you try to kill us? No, we were just lifting your chair up for you higher. Yeah, because it totally wasn't a death attempt at all. Nope, totally wasn't. And then we go on, and after they survive that, Jack had already gone up one giant's nose, and he goes up these giant's nose, and it's funny, but it's kind of gross at the same time. And can we talk about the fact that Jack, the sword, keeps saying "Senor, Senor, Senor"? Is he Spanish? Is the sword Spanish? Do swords have origins? Like, do they have accents? Do they speak a certain language? Does their language translate to whatever language the owner speaks? Like, what's going on there? I don't know what's going on there. And then, of course, we have them escaping it. The father comes home to find the daughter giants. The father giant looks small compared to the daughter giants, but he's still a giant. Like, Magnus has lost all of his strength because he has the sword again, which drains all of his strength whenever the sword does something. Whenever he grabs the sword back, he loses all of his strength. So Blitz has to carry him around. He's getting out of breath because they're running around everywhere, knocking down pillars because the father giant is throwing like cannonballs or something at them and knocking down all these pillars. And he knocks down the last one. The house collapses, and the sword's like, "What's the sword supposed to think when you go off like that? I was in the other room, and then you were gone." Later in the book, he also meets up with Annabeth again, and this one because his father had said that he might need her help for the end. So I'm really hoping that Annabeth is more in the Hammer of Thor, because Thor loses his hammer, which he has already done like 2 or 3 times. How do you lose a hammer when he needs these special gloves to pick it up? Like, you just casually forget about it. I mean, he does sleep like rock, so it's easy that the Giants could have used a whatever it's called to come and pick it up. It's kind of interesting that it's not like the movies Thor, in the book, or maybe it's in the mythology. I don't know. I don't know anything about Norse mythology except for what's in these books. At the craftsman contest, Blitz won this rope, which Junior should have given him because he thought he was going to die anyway, and blah, 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 blah. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. And he got the rope, which was super amazing, and I kept thinking that he was going to die or something because, like, Junior is supposed to be this really, really good craftsman, and this thing keeps biting him, and he slams the hammer wrong, and all of those are just crushed metals. And they're like, it's a really close call. Yeah, Blitz, and you totally have fully made objects. One of them is a duck, and then a tie, and then a chain. And then we have these metals that's been destroyed. Yeah, I think this is even. This is pretty even here, but you know, this one vote, Blitzen, you're not, you won. I'm totally going out of order here. But after they get back to the hotel, then Sam gets awarded whatever to be either the captain of the, I can't name that. I don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm so sorry. It's like the Valakines or something. And then Blitz gets awarded and then he gets enough money to open his own design clothing store thing, which is what he's always wanted to do, which I thought was super cool of Odin. And Odin was disguised as X, which was a clever disguise. Odin offers to teach Hearth magic, which is really cool because that's always what he's wanted to do as well. I mean, maybe not as long as Blitz, but still, it's really cool. And Sam gets awarded to be captain of that or and go on these amazing life or death missions. That's what they so are. And Magnus either can go back to life and be human again and, you know, meet up with his cousin, which was really cool. But he chose to stay in Injiri. I said that wrong too. But because that's where his friends were, and that's the only family he had had in so long. Because he hadn't seen Annabeth since he was like 6 years old or something like that. And so, yeah, I'm super excited for the next book because I've read like the first page and they're going to go on some quest for his hammer because he lost it in this book. He doesn't have it, so it's got to be not long after, and it's going to be super exciting. And anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!